This is Gray Paladin, and I hope that all of you have been staying safe and healthy during the COVID-19 pandemic. Since we've all been locked down, I've found a lot more time to work on some of my saber projects. This one here is the Korbanth Sid 2.0. In a previous video, I had installed this saber. It had two red tactile switches that came with the kit, as well as a chassis, a two-piece chassis from Goth 3D, and I also used a Nano Biscotti V4 soundboard. Well, I swapped out that NB V4 for a Verso soundboard, and I changed the switches to make it more screen accurate and installed a green tactile switch along with one red, and I swapped out the chassis with the chassis from Derrick Organ. You can find him on Facebook, as well as he has a YouTube channel, and I'll place a card right up top here so that way you can check out his videos of his install of the Sid 2.0. So a quick walkthrough here, nice visual look. We got our pommel, the powder coat along with the polished mirrored aluminum there, the electrum, nice blade plug there, red tactile switch and green tactile switch. Took a suggestion from Derrick Organ, and rather than use an Allen key to remove this screw here in the bezel, I glued the screw to the bezel, so now it acts as a thumb screw. So I can just turn that with my own fingers and remove that screw, and then get access to removing the pommel, and then you can slide out the chassis from the inside. I installed this with the Verso board, so this will also serve as a review of the Verso soundboard along with the install of the saber. So I installed this with the sound font called Emperor from Kyberphonic.
Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
So I will say that with the Verso soundboard, it's an entry-level board, so it only holds one font. You do get smooth swing. It can support NeoPixel and or LED. This is installed with NeoPixel. And it only has your power on, power off. It has a mute function. It has flash on clash, and that's essentially it. You do not get blaster deflection or saber lockup with this board. However, what's nice is you can just put in the firmware file. It'll automatically update and boot, and it only takes about 5 seconds. So knowing that the board has firmware updates means that this has the potential to be able to support greater functions in the future. So this is just the first version of the Verso board, and so far, honestly, I like it very much, and it is a very affordable price. You can get it at thesaberarmory.com.
Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
I did not install this saber with a recharge port, but it does go into deep sleep after 50 seconds. So here's your smooth swing. Very accurate, very nice. And your flash on clash. Now what I like to do with my saber, since it's very limited as far as what you can do, you don't have pre-ons, post-offs, beginning lock-up and end lock, tip drag, things like that. So I try to include quotes in some of the clashes and also some of the basic functions like muting and unmuting. So here I will turn the saber off, and that's just from pressing and holding. Turn on with one click, and off. Then, if you press and hold, it will go into mute, but it has to be off.
Let me help you to know the subtleties of the Force.
I used that for my my mute sound. So right now I don't have the blade in, but right now the saber is on, but you don't hear anything because it's in mute mode. Turning it off. Now if you press and hold again while it's off, it'll unmute.
Right.
And I added that quote for when I'm coming out of mute. I also added some quotes during the clashes. I'll see if I can trigger some of those now. Cut that one short. Let's see if I can get that one again. So overall, I do like the Verso soundboard. It's very easy to install. You have large pads. The manual is easy to follow. So if you're interested in an entry-level soundboard or getting started with something that's going to be simple and easy to wire and have good clear pads, I do recommend the Verso board, and it is affordable. I kind of pin it as like a modern Nano Biscotti V4. It has all the functions of that, but it includes the smooth swing and has NeoPixel support and things like that. So let's go ahead and give you a look at the chassis and the inside. Removing my little makeshift thumb screw here. The pommel. Now, the chassis that I got from Derrick Organ is really nice. It's an all-in-one, one-piece design. And what I really enjoy about it is it's one piece and it's removable. I can slide it in and out and charge the saber and things like that. However, when it first went in, it fits great. It's a perfect snug fit. But when I was doing some of the clashes, the chassis would kind of rotate on the inside a little bit. And as a result, the switches that I installed using the plunger system were no longer aligned with the chassis, so I couldn't turn the saber off and things like that. So I had to end up doing a chassis retention screw. So unfortunately, and this is just the nature of the beast with this particular saber, you have to remove all these parts. The electrum ring at the top, this crown there, and then this piece just slides right off. And then there I have my screw for the chassis. This one I do have to use an Allen key for. Loosen that, and then the chassis just slides right out. So here I'm using a 22 millimeter speaker, an 18650 lithium ion rechargeable battery, 7-pin NeoPixel connector, and then I've got the tactile switch plugged in here. Now the Verso board only utilizes one button activation. Maybe in the future it'll support a second. Excuse me. And but for now it's only one button, so I only installed the one switch. But this will be the red switch side, and this is the green switch side. And then there's the Verso board right up top, and that also has your SD card that you can remove and make updates and changes and things like that. I'll give you a little close up, but I do like the one piece chassis. I just think it's a great thing. It's nice and easy. I mean, the speaker's right there, your battery is there, access to your board, there's the switch, and then the NeoPixel connector. And then what happens is, utilizing the plunger system for the switches, this one is just, you know, a dead tactile switch. It's not hooked up to anything. But here, that's a plunger that I had to make. So I don't know if you can see on the inside, but yes, I don't think it's going to show through. Maybe a little bit right there. Anyway, you can see I've got one plastic piece that pushes down on that switch, like a plunger, essentially. But you have to align the chassis perfectly with the hilt, otherwise that plunger in the switch won't make contact with the tactile switch in the chassis. But it does have the removable battery. I included a little pull tab there so I can just pull that out, pop out the battery, pull that out, put it in a charger. Once the battery is fully charged, put it back in, it'll boot up.
Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
And then it'll fire up as normal. I wish I had designed this or a slightly bigger chassis to make room for a crystal. Just put like a pearl or something in there. But maybe on a future build I'll do that. I do have some crystal chamber things that I want to try to tackle in another video. Anyway, once that's in, I just take that, slide it in, make sure, and I try to make it so that way the pins were straight. So when I insert it into the saber, as long as my pins are aimed straight up, I can slide that in, get the plunger down, line it up, and it helps to put the pommel in first, because it actually stops it right at where it needs to be. Okay. Realign that. And before I secure it, I have to do a test and make sure it clicks. And it does.
Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
And I tighten my retention screw. Good. Chassis is not going to go anywhere. After that, secure the electrum ring, screw in, screw on the crown, and then I can attach the ring, and it's good to go. So I'll cut away, and since I don't have the blade retention screw in there, I'm going to take a second, put the blade in, secure it in a way that it won't fly out, and then I'll demonstrate it with the blade inside.
Now you will experience the full power of the dark side.
So I hope you enjoyed this video and my quick review of the Verso soundboard and my updated install of the Korbanth Sid 2.0. Just to give you some news about what's coming down the pipeline, my Count Dooku saber, I updated that with a CFX soundboard, so that's coming here pretty soon. I also have currently on its way the Ultra Saber's Empress, and I'm going to do an install on that saber as well. So please stay tuned and stay up to date with some future installs and some more unboxings coming your way. Thank you very much for watching, and may the Force be with you.